What's up, guys? Here's another mid-vacation kind of video blog review of Les Misérables, which is a new musical directed by Tom Hooper. The basic summary of this movie is that it takes place over the course of about 20 some odd years. Its main character is Jean Valjean, played by Hugh Jackman, who's a man who gets out of prison after spending 20 years there for stealing a piece of bread. Okay. And it kind of like builds around the whole June Rebellion thing that took place several years after the French Revolution. I don't really want to get into which characters live and die and how he comes across the various characters, because some of that could be considered a spoiler, but it's this big epic tale that essentially revolves around this one character. Now, Les Misérables is a film that's basically been hailed as the Oscar movie of the year. Like, even before it came out, everybody was like, this is going to be the most brilliant movie of all time. It's going to move you in ways that movies have never moved you before, and oh my goodness, it's going to be amazing. And so like it kind of had this kind of aura of just hype and hyperbole built around it before it even came out. And I had a few interesting processes surrounding it because essentially, unlike most musicals, they recorded all of the songs live on set. They didn't use any dubbing or anything like that, so it has a much more natural feel to it. So how did the movie turn out? Well, it turned out pretty good, but I'm not as in love with this movie as a lot of people are. I think it's heavily flawed. But first, let's get into what's good, which is mainly every single performance around the entire cast table, aside from one which I'll get into, is very, very strong. Hugh Jackman, an incredible lead, very good singer. Same with Russell Crowe. You really get a sense of their characters. Russell Crowe plays this sergeant or general or whatever who's always after Hugh Jackman's character, and they both put such conviction into their roles. You really feel both of their characters, and that's the thing with this movie. Every single actor and the music and the lyrics, you really get invested in the emotions of these characters, and you really feel it. The movie doesn't really have any straight dialogue. It's all in lyrics. And because of that, you really poetically get a sense of how everybody's feeling, and these actors really play off of that. But the main star here is Anne Hathaway, by far. She has a very small role, but she plays a character named Fantine, who has some sort of disease, and her daughter becomes more important later on in the film. But Anne Hathaway, man, blows you away in this movie with emotions that she's never shown on screen before, a range that she hasn't shown, with a combined screen time of about maybe 30 minutes. And she has a song about 40 minutes into the movie that just kills you. It's the famous I Dreamed a Dream song, and she absolutely nails it. Also good about this movie is the live recording of the music. Just really, it really helps the actors, and you can tell they're really belting all their emotion, just getting everything out on the set, and it really leads to some more naturalistic acting choices as well. Also, but there's just a lot of issues with this movie, and I don't really know where to start, more so than to say that while this is a very emotionally investing movie because of how good the performance of it is, it's a corny story. I'm sorry, this is a really cheesy movie when it comes down to it, because, I mean, a lot of it is just musical logic. I understand that when you have Russell Crowe, for example, when you have Russell Crowe's character on the roof at night, in the middle of the night, and he's belting out on this large balcony, none of the neighbors are going to be like, shut up! But at the same time, there's just a lot of melodrama in this movie, and I mean a lot of melodrama, to the point to where it becomes sort of laughable. A lot of the time it is very resonant, but there's just some times where people just start singing about nothing, and it really feels like that, especially when random characters start joining in and singing with them also. Also, there are a couple weak performances in here. I didn't feel that Eddie, something with an R, Reinhorn or whatever, and Amanda Seyfried really gave very strong performances, either vocally or acting-wise. They were fine, but they just felt kind of out of place and just not as powerful as the other actors in the film. And also, there are just a couple plot threads that just don't feel as necessary to the movie as everything else. There's this kind of weak love story that goes on between that Eddie person and this other girl named like Ebony or something, and she's just like kind of the third wheel as he falls in love with Amanda Seyfried, and that doesn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. And also, I really had a problem with the fact that while the movie takes place during the French Revolution, there is not a French person to be found. And there's even a little Oliver Twist boy going, "Considérez Welling, considérez." Anyway, but overall, it's a good movie. I would recommend that you see it. It is very emotionally resonant at times. It's got great performances and some really excellent musical numbers with some good directing, some weird, odd close-up choices here and there, but nothing too bad by Tom Hooper. It's a solid movie, but really, I really feel like this was a tad overhyped. I'd give it 3 stars out of 4. I'd say go see it, but just don't go in with sky-high expectations. And until next time, I'm Michael Fairbanks. Goodbye, everybody. Happy New Year.